What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. Today, the first thing I want you to do is to look around yourself and just note the 10 first things that come into your eye contact, okay? Note those things. Now, if you're done with that, these things are most likely going to be plastics. Chances are you're going to be watching this at home. If I was my desk, I'd be seeing things that are made out of plastic. My mouse, my keyboard, my monitor, my computer, and all its all its components. All of those things are plastic. Okay, pretty obvious to you. What does this have to do with this whole video? Well, today's topic are going to be estrogenics. What the hell is an estrogenic? In short, that would be something considered like all plastics are estrogenics. Then there are some herbicides, so estrogenics, some other things you haven't even heard of probably, which we're going to be going into quite a lot in this video. Estrogenics basically, like in one sentence, are materials that exhibit estrogen-like qualities. Okay, and probably nobody is going to be able to really know what that means. And I didn't for certain either. Estrogen in itself is pretty good. It's in our bodies. It's an androgen like testosterone. Testosterone sounds a lot more familiar to most of you probably. But basically, estrogenics are a lot of things. We'll go over what estrogenics are. There are a lot of them. Most importantly, plastics. Okay, plastics are like the basic. Okay, and most of these estrogenics are man-made. So plastics, herbicides, and a bunch more. I have a whole list here, and I'll be listing that stuff in a moment. But there are also some naturally occurring ones like fungi and some plants. Okay, we'll go over all of that. But what are these estrogenics? Are they why should I be worrying about them? Okay, why? Well, let me list you some of the things that happen when you come into too much contact with estrogenics. I'm going to be reading right here. In general, all estrogenics can cause the following things. Some do more of this, more than these things, okay? Or multiple of these. And on varying degrees. Man boobs, infertility, decrease in testosterone, increase in allergies, a tendency for ADHD and ADD, diabetes, obesity, various cancers, and that's just to name a few. There are a lot more that I can name you. If that does not sound like something you want to have, then keep watching this video, trust me. As I've already said, there are a lot of estrogenics, and I'm just going to list all of them. I have a whole list down here, which is pretty relevant for this video. So let's start with EE2. What is EE2? EE2 is basically birth control, okay? Birth control, the interesting thing about birth control is that it's a hormone. There you go, I got the word right this time. It's a hormone, and this can't be really filtered out from your water system. And you see where I'm getting with this. EE2, let me get real close. EE2 is inside your tap water. You're legit drinking birth control. And I'm not even joking about that. EE2 is inside your tap water, bro. If you're not having a water distiller, or you're buying from a really good source, you're probably drinking birth control. I'm not even joking about this. It's freaking fascinating. And the situation is not as bad in Europe. It's not good, but it's a lot worse in a lot of other countries. Okay, so period. Don't drink tap water. Trust me. Okay. Then our next compound is ZEA, zearalenone. There you go. I got the pronunciation right, I think. This is basically a mycotoxin, a poison from a fungus. And this also contains estrogenics. But this is not as bad because this is something that occurs in nature, and you probably won't get into contact with this as much. But still, you should be pretty careful. APE is another one. This is something that has caused a lot of allergies. It's also plastic, I believe, and this really messes up our system. All of the allergy increases that are coming like over the last few decades or so are partly to be attributed to APEs, because these are the stuff that really cause your allergies. Okay. Next up, we have BPA, BPS, and all of the compounds that like BP something. Okay. The dangerous thing about this stuff is that this is I believe the compound that leaches into your products the most. So if it's wrapped in something, it really gets in there, and you have all the estrogenic like qualities like man boobs and so on and so forth, which are caused by this. And the really dangerous thing about this one is, that's like a BPA free thing that people started to like really get onto, like this bandwagon, like, hey, BPA is horrible, we should not put this in our products. You want to know the really sad truth behind that? The really sad truth is there's this other compound, it's called BPS, and that's almost the same thing as BPA. So even though a product says BPA free and you're like, ooh, this is really nice and this has no plastics in it, and it's probably not going to be that bad. It could be made out of BPS. It's equally as bad, if not even worse. That's really the most scummy thing about this whole thing. So those things. Then we have Triclosan, another estrogenic. Benzophenone. There you go. I'm sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing these whole names. Then there is another one, which is food coloring, especially red 3 and red 40. There you go. I can't really make a 40 with 10 fingers. But red 3 and red 40 are two of the food coloring stuff. And I have got a lot of this information, like more than 90%, from the book Estrogeneration by Anthony G.J. And he says in this book that a lot of autism and a lot of ADHD, like ADD, things like that, all of that stuff is caused largely due to red 3 and red 40. I want you to consider this. Which food has the most food coloring? I'll give you a few seconds. Oh, by the way, it's food that like kids like to eat. Just saying. Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, exactly. It's fast food. Yeah, like each time you go to McDonald's, you're like, oh, let's have a burger, let's have some fries. Increasing your chances of your kid having autism and ADHD. I just think that's fascinating. Doesn't mean that you can't like go there once a year. Like, sure, it's probably not gonna do much. But just the fact, like, just the thought of, hey, I'm increasing the chances of my child having ADHD or autism. It's just fascinating, honestly. Fascinating in the wrong way. Just, I don't know, bro. But anyway, let's keep going. We have parabens and phthalates, and these are the ones that cause ADD, autism, and obesity and cancer. And these are really damn bad as well. These are the two most commonly found ones in all of your products, basically. And I'm gonna have a list at the end for which stuff you can like actually check on your ingredients list. If you check that stuff, those are the things that you should be looking out for. Now we get to the other class of things, which are two herbicides, which are atrazine and glyphosate. These things you can't really see, but the dangerous thing about these, especially the atrazine, is that it stays in the ground for a really long time. So even though you've got your crops, okay, you're planting them like side by side, like these big boy plantations, you harvest them and then it's gone. The dangerous thing is that the atrazine stays in the ground, and it's an estrogenic. So meaning that if you plant the new seedlings in there, they're gonna grow up with a lot more estrogen than they should have. And that's really dangerous. Okay. So there we have those two. Next up, we have got all oils. Every single oil out there, like sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, all ones except for olive oil. Olive oil is cool, okay? But the others, they're all like wrapped in this plastic wrapping, which we've already talked about. Olive oil, on the other hand, is usually wrapped in glass or some like other compound, which is not plastic or estrogenic. And also, it's a monounsaturated, but we're getting into nutrition on that part. So monounsaturated fat, the others are saturated fats. The monounsaturated was the polyunsaturated. Sorry, I said it wrong. This is the polyunsaturated. The olive oil is the monounsaturated. This is good. This is not so good, usually. Okay. Also, an estrogenic. Lavender is another one. Like not the very organic stuff that you can actually smell. That's not all too bad. But the stuff that they put in fragrances, perfumes, like these Febreze bottles and stuff, that stuff is estrogenic. Cannabis, another very interesting one, which is like highly estrogenic as well. The THC is certainly kicking on that point. Soy, flaxseed, sesame seeds, the typical like Nestle, Nesquik cereal, all of that like commercial stuff. Also highly estrogenic. And last but not least, this one kind of hurt. Pasta. Pasta is something that's just really nice, honestly. I love pasta, and since I found out it's estrogenic, can't really savor it as much. And I might have ruined the experience for you as well, because too much pasta can definitely have some effects. But let's keep this between you and me. Pasta still smacks, and I still eat it. So I'm just gonna take the L on that one. But yeah, that's the whole list. I'm gonna have like the things that you should be looking out for in the descriptions as well. In the book Estrogeneration, there was also this experiment done with a bunch of fishies in a like container. Okay, what the scientists did is compare a healthy tank where they didn't do anything, and they had a second tank where they put in just 5 nanograms per deciliter of EE2, so the birth control stuff. Okay, they put that in, and the really shocking thing is that the fish died. The fish died in 4 generations. There were no more fish left in that tank. And boys, that's fish with 5 nanograms. Okay? We are having far more than 5 nanograms. Okay? Probably 20-fold that. Okay? So if this keeps going, if we keep putting this output as high as we can with estrogenics in general, the human race could actually be endangered. And I'm not even joking about that. Like, that's just completely fascinating. Again, in a negative way. But the thing that you should be worried about, as I said, that the human race is practically endangered at this point, is that your third generation from now, so your son, his son, his son, so your grandson, might actually be infertile. And that's like the end of your generation. Okay? That's a really scary thought to me. I do not know if that is for you, but it's just not a good thought to have. And the infertility thing might be only for men, and this is actually where women are safe. But from the rest of the stuff, they're not safe. Like some people just say, "Oh, but estrogen is like the woman's androgen," and that is not quite the truth, because women only have, I don't know the exact data anymore, but I believe only 40 nanograms per deciliter of estrogen, and men have like 20. That's about it. So women have double, but it's still pretty low. Okay, when you consider that like testosterone is like in the hundreds, and estrogen is like still pretty low. Okay, and when those estrogenics really start building up, it goes up to the hundreds. Okay, so even though the women have like 40 and they have more than men, but it's still going to cause the same problems. And another thing that estrogenics cause is the obesity, as I've already mentioned. But how does it actually work? Like, what do estrogenics really have to do with that? First off, I have to mention that estrogenics are lipophilic. If you can't do anything with that, don't worry, I'll explain to you. You have an estrogenic, right? You have like my skin here. They go here, they bind, and they can go into the skin. That's lipophilic. Like they like fat and are fat and not fat soluble. So if you like put them on top of water, they'll just float in. Meaning that if you like consume water with estrogenics, they don't really mind. They're just gonna come in. And that is going to be stored in your fat cells. Your fat cells would like to store some estrogen. And the estrogen is replaced by estrogenics, so plastic and whatever. This stuff is going to linger in your fat cells and is not going to come out very easily. This also means that they are being stored in your fat cells, but they're also being stored in your brain cells. Your IQ is legit going down because you have estrogenics in your system. And there's this fat switch inside of you. This fat switch basically means that if it's turned on, you start storing more body mass. I mean, you get more big, you store more mass, and you're not like this, but you like your your stomach goes big mode. And estrogenics cause that switch to go on. When the switch is off, you're completely healthy, you're completely normal, you have a good, like, healthy amount of body fat, like, let's say 15 to 17, 18%. Completely fine. But once you start having too much estrogen in your system due to the estrogenics, this stuff actually becomes too much and the fat switch goes on. And then you start rapidly gaining body fat because you're storing a lot of it. We've had all the physical stuff mentioned, basically. But also the mental stuff to take into account. I've already mentioned that this stuff binds to your brain and can legit change your thinking. And probably not for the positive, okay? This also means that it can mess with your mind. And through that, it can actually cause depression. It can like legit cause mental health issues to have plastic inside of you, or just estrogenics in general. Which, well, it makes pretty good sense in my opinion. But it can exacerbate the problems in anything, like no matter what. Diabetes, obesity, no matter what it is, it's going to make the problem worse. And that's just horribly sad. The worst thing, however, in my opinion, is the fact that a lot of kids coming into touch with plastics, right? They're touching plastic here, they're touching plastic there, they're eating like the food coloring from McDonald's. And the problem is, there's some interesting guys outside. But anyway, the problem is that this stuff interferes with puberty. So if you consume a lot of plastic, a lot of estrogenics all around the day, if you're touching plastic a lot, if you're drinking out of a plastic water bottle, if your water is really contaminated with EE2, you might actually be stunting your growth and have some permanent damage from that. And that really is scary. Horribly scary. Because if you interfere with puberty, you're not going to be able to reverse that. And think of how many people are coming into contact with this stuff. I just want you to think a moment, okay? I'll just leave you to it. It's kind of bad. It's pretty bad, okay? But because it is bad, I've got the good stuff right here. Let's lighten the mood a little bit again. There are some things that you can really, there are some very actionable steps that you can take. And here are some of the best actionable steps that you can take right now. Most actionable step that you can take right now is take a look at the things that are in the description of this video. Those things are the things to be avoided. So everything starting with Benz, everything starting with Fen, and there's a there's a lot more that I'll put in there. Okay, all of the stuff that I mentioned plus some more, which might also be contained in your products. Basically, everything that is there should be avoided because either it's an estrogenic or harms you otherwise. Okay, when looking for a product, look at the list on the back of the product. Okay, and if you see any of these, like if there's one, okay, you can take the L. But if there's multiple of these stuff, you should really start getting careful. Like there's like two or three. There's like Triclosan, like phthalates, and Benzophenone. You should probably just get out of there at that point. Okay, you should be extremely careful with that stuff. Another thing that I can recommend is that really just avoid touching plastics as much as possible. If you don't have like a metal water bottle yet, buy one. Okay, I used the like I took this what is it called, this suggestion from Hamza and just copied him, which is the Super Sparrow water bottle. You can find it on Amazon. It's like $20. It's really good. It feels nice. It's pretty high quality, and damn, it looks stylish as hell. Other than that, what else can you do? Get yourself a water filter. The water filter, I do not speak from experience because we haven't installed it here yet. But the water filter, think of how much water you're consuming, and then think of how much water, how much your performance might improve from that water filter. Just think about that. Okay, that's gonna be a pretty big difference. You're drinking like what, 4 liters of water every single day? That's 24 liters a week, and that's a lot of water every single year. And if it's contaminated, if those 24 liters are contaminated every single day, every single week, damn, you are really missing out. Sorry, it will be 28. I don't know why I said 24, but anyway. Yeah, those are the 3 most actionable steps you can take. Take a look at what's in your product, and when you see something that's really bad for you, swap the product. Throw it away, put it somewhere where you won't ever see it again. I don't really mind, but swap the product. That is, if you have some self-respect, you're going to do that, because I cannot use products which I know are bad for me. I don't know if that's the same case for you. If you can, it's your choice. I'm just telling you the information and what you can do with it. Second thing, only buy things that are not wrapped in plastics, and don't touch plastics in general. Also applicable to things like milk and milk and butter. You should only be getting these stuff when they are grass fed, because if they're in the supermarket, if they're like these over processed, like completely sugarized, low fat skim milk stuff, nah, bro, you're legit killing yourself with that. Go to the local farmer, get yourself some milk there. It's gonna taste a lot better. Let me tell you that. It's also gonna be a lot healthier. And yeah, those are the stuff that I really want you to be careful of, because this is a pretty big problem. And since I've swapped more than 50% of my products for a lot better things, I'll also have a list of products down in the description of what I use for everything. I've honestly been feeling quite a lot more productive. I don't really know like in what terms I've been feeling more productive, but I've been more full of energy, just been quite a lot happier. You can see in my videos, I'm laughing quite a lot. I'm smiling quite a lot, being being a dumbass sometimes, even though I try to create something that will help you a lot out, that help you out a lot. There you go. And with that said, that's it. That's all I have for today. I thank you very much for watching, and use the information in this video. Make sure to subscribe. 0. Have a nice day, my boy. Goodbye.